Future of Africa's commerce. Inter-trade commerce in Africa has been on the developing stage in recent years. New trade visions and agreements have spurred the continent into a commendable range of growth. However, there's still much to be desired. The growing influence of the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfCFTA), with its affiliates like Afreximbank, Africa Development Bank, AfDB, have contributed in the economic growth in Africa. Africa on the rise used to be just an encouraging word to deflect our minds from the glaring reality of inefficiency in the continent. But now that word seems more like a vision that is starting to take shape. The future of African trade looks promising and harbors great potential if annexed appropriately. Although the evidence of its insufficiencies are present for all to see, the roadmap to achieving major boost in commerce in Africa is achievable. All that is needed is to identify its rooted problems and create frameworks or policies to eliminate those deficiencies. To begin with, some of the issues affecting intra-trade deals in Africa are infrastructural bottlenecks, inadequate bilateral agreements, trade tariffs, inconsistent trade policies, and political and security instability, amongst many others. Realistically, it is difficult to achieve seamless trade distribution across Africa without a good road, rail, air, and marine system of transportation. Secondly, is to create healthy bilateral agreements amongst African countries to address the issues of trade tariffs and trade policies that could enhance productivity and distribution between countries. Lastly, and more importantly, there must be little or no political insecurities in these countries to facilitate healthy trade deals with other African counterparts. The emergence of AfCFTA on the 21st of March 2018 has increased the chances of having a seamless intra-African trade, since that is its essence, and the introduction of Pan-African Payment and Settlement System (PAPSS), which was launched publicly January 13, 2022, has also increased the chances of having a structural payment platforms between countries in trade. Before the emergence of AfCFTA, intra-African exports stood at approximately 13% of Africa's total trade. In comparison, Europe had 66.9%, Asia and Oceania had 63.8%, and the Americas 44.4%. The percentage difference between African trades compared to other continents' intra-trade is quite evident of the continent's underwhelming trade volume. Note, Africa is the biggest exporter of raw materials, but the biggest importers of manufactured goods, which are mostly imported from countries outside the shores of Africa. However, from 2019 to 2023, trade volume rose significantly, from $69 billion to $192 billion, reflecting growing activity even if share gains were modest. The value growth in 2024, which was 12.4%, suggests a rebound and possible growing confidence in regional trade ties. The AfCFTA's full potential remains unrealized, especially in terms of expanding share, but the projections still look optimistic. Modeling predicts that by 2040, AfCFTA could raise intra-African trade share to 50 to 60%, or even double current levels, depending on liberalization depth. One of the key game changers is the idea of making Africa have a unilateral currency, which would eliminate legal tender issues. This idea had been proposed but faced several political and economic barriers. But truly, it is one of the solutions in boosting trade in Africa, because just like I stated earlier, it eliminates the issues of legal tender, ensures that trade is fast and seamless, encourage more intra-African trade for both large and small-scale businesses, provide a well-structured fiscal framework, and ultimately promote unity in transnational border operations due to the absence of FX differences. This move will further strengthen Africa's negotiating power in world economics and make the continent a force to be reckoned with. Europe has the highest percentage of intra-continent trade deals, mainly due to its unilateral currency called euro. So if Africa are to experience immense trade boost in the future, unilateral currency would ideally be one of the major reasons for that change. The African Union Summit (AU) should help facilitate the orientation of these initiatives and redirect the vision of African leaders to the larger goal, which is building a formidable Africa. The progress of Africa's development shouldn't be a thing of the imagination, but a reality. If only the frameworks are created and the foundations are laid by the leaders of today to usher in the leaders of tomorrow into an Africa destined for greatness. Thank you.